Hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So for today's demo, I wanted to quickly show how computer use feature works in Copilot Studio. Computer use feature is now publicly available or in public preview in US region. So if you have a environment which is in US region, you should see a public preview of this feature. So computer use feature really allows you to do two things. It allows for desktop automation. So if you have any applications that are not exposed via APIs, you can automate processes using those application using computer use feature. Think of applications that you might be using to input new invoices or pre-filling some data within your organizations. So these applications are typically homegrown and they don't have APIs exposed. So for those kind of scenarios, you can use computer use feature where your agent can mimic human actions in order to input data or search for information using those applications. The other thing that you can do with computer use is web automation. So think of steps or processes that your users perform where they might have to log into to a website in order to search for information or create new information. All that those repetitive steps can be performed by an agent. So you know both the scenarios like desktop automation and web automation is when you would use computer use feature to allow your agent to mimic those repetitive steps that are taken by your users. So this is a very powerful feature, especially when you are trying to automate your end-to-end business process, where you might have certain steps that require action from human, where they are performing this repetitive steps that require either accessing applications that are sitting on your desktop, or if you want to log into a certain website in order to pre-fill some forms or complete some steps or search for information. All that can be done as part of your end-to-end process automation use case using computer use agent. So with that, let me just quickly show you how you can use this feature in Copilot Studio. So here I already have created an agent in Copilot Studio. You can see it has no knowledge. The only thing I have added is instructions. So for instructions, I have created two tools that are using computer use feature. So I have the vendor onboarding process tool, which basically allows my agent to use computer use feature in order to onboard a new vendor. So in this case, I have a model-driven Power Apps, which is used to fill out vendor information and kick off vendor onboarding process. So my agent will now use computer use feature to launch this Power Apps on a hosted machine, log in using my credentials, and once it's logged into my Power Apps, it will create a new form and fill out all the vendor information to start the vendor onboarding process. So that's the first use case here. The second use case I have is for stock analysis. So this is the concept around web automation. So in this case, when a user is asking to do some analysis for a given stock, it will my agent will use Yahoo Finance website to complete that analysis. So the agent will open up an Edge browser, navigate to Yahoo Finance, look at the analysis tab for a given stock, and then use that information in order to complete the report. So that's the second use case that I have. So let's see how I have configured these two tools to use computer use feature. So in order to use the computer use feature, you can click on Tools, click on Add a Tool, and then click on New Tool. So when you do that, if you have a US region environment, you should see this card right here. So as you can see, it's in public preview, but once you have if you have a US region, you should see this card right here. So once you click that card, you will be presented with a wizard like this. So you can see this is what I've done. So I have given it a name. So the name would be the process you're trying to automate. So in my case, it's vendor onboarding process. I have a description for this tool. So the process or the agent knows what this tool does. And then the most important part are these instructions. So these are the steps that your agent would follow on the hosted machine in order to complete this process. So here you can see I'm saying open this application, the Power Apps model driven app, use my credentials to log in. It will complete two-factor authentication. It will click on new form to start the onboarding process, fill out this information, and then click on save and close. So that's the end-to-end process that I have for this vendor onboarding process. So let's see. And then if you look at the bottom, these are all the inputs. So I'm going to pass in all the vendor information that my agent will use in order to fill out that form. So this input can be anything. Like right now, I'm going to provide it manually here, but you could have a Excel or CSV file where you provide all that information at once, and then agent will loop through that Excel file and onboard different vendors based on that Excel or CSV file. So that's the first use case, and I can quickly show how this is going to work. So if I, let's make sure I save it. I am going to test it. I'll turn on the monitoring so you can see what my agent is doing. And then I can ask a question. Let's say, make sure we are able to see everything here. Let me make sure we can see the agent activity here. Okay, so now that we can see the agent activity, let me ask my agent to onboard this new vendor. I'm providing all this information, and you can see here it's now using that tool that I just showed you. It's able to identify all the information correctly, and now it's going to launch the hosted machine in order to run this process. So here you can see it's logged into the hosted machine. It's now navigating to my Power Apps URL to open the application. Now it's logging using my credentials. While it's doing that, one of the key difference between this versus doing this in RPA is RPA uses the HTML DOM in order to look through the website. But in this case, it's using vision to understand all the components that are on the website, and then use it based on the instructions or the steps that we have provided. So that way, like if the website structure changes, you still don't have to reconfigure anything on the agent side. It will still be able to understand those instructions and take actions based on the website that you have provided. So here you can see it was able to log in. It's now launching the Power Apps. So here you can see it's able to open that Power Apps, and it's clicking on new to start the new application. So just to show you what it looks like, if I go to make.powerapps.com, it's this application here. So it's now opening this page. You can see I have 3 vendors onboarded. So it's basically going to click on new and then fill out the vendor information and then save and close. So that's going to kick off the new vendor onboarding process. So here you can see now it's filling out all the details, entering the vendor ID after name. So it's basically filling out all the information that we have provided. Okay, so the process is complete. So you can see here it was able to fill out all that information here. And once this is completed, you can go and verify. So here you can see we had 3 records. This is the information that it was able to enter and kick off this process. So this can be done using any application. So in my case, I'm using this Power Apps, but if you had like a desktop application, it would follow the same process and complete all the information. So that was use case number 1, where we saw how it can uh, log in with your credentials to an application and fill out information or search for information. The second use case that we have is around web automation, where we would now be doing stock analysis. So you can see I've turned on the monitoring, so we can monitor the activity. So let me make sure we can see it here. And now I'm going to ask the agent to basically do a detailed stock analysis for Microsoft. So here I'm asking this question, and we can see that now it's going to use the stock analysis tool, and it will kick off the process by launching the hosted machine. Then it's going to log in or open the Microsoft Edge. And then navigate to Yahoo Finance. So you can see it's now navigating to Yahoo Finance. Okay, so here you can see it's able to complete. So just to show you the steps it took, so you can see it launched Yahoo Finance, and then it was able to look at Microsoft stock. So then it navigated to analysis tab on Microsoft stock page. Then it looks at all the analysis data. You can see it's exploring detailed research analysis data on that page. It looks at all the analysis that's available on that page. And then at the end, it's able to create a report using that data. So this is how it creates the summary report. I can say, can you share the report here? And then you can take that report and you can see the report is here. You can then take that report and email it to yourself, or download the report as needed. But this is a quick demo of how computer used feature works in Copilot Studio. It's pretty powerful to automate end-to-end business processes. So if you have any other questions, or if you would like to learn more, do let me know in comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks for watching.